Ooh, what's going on, family? We back with another one. So, this session, I'm gonna talk about honesty. Smile on my face, of course, because every day is a good day. But I really enjoy talking about honesty. Maybe because when I was in my addiction, I wasn't so honest. Honesty was the furthest thing away from me being honest with the people around me, even the people I did maybe my criminal activity with. Even wasn't 100% honest with them. So today, I want to talk about honesty, but of course, like, comment, subscribe. Anything you want to talk about, any questions you may have about addiction, about recovery, about sobriety, any of that stuff, please direct your questions towards me. I'm going to answer them the best of my ability. Once again, I have a little bit over 5.5 years of sobriety. I've been doing this for a while now. I've been a counselor for 3 years now, and I've been in the field for 5. I love doing this. I love talking to you, ladies and gentlemen, about recovery. And let's grab just one person, if it's just one person, and get them to listen to this video, get them to subscribe, get them to just, pay attention for a moment. Maybe it can change your life. But let's get down to it. So honesty, why is it so important? I think the things we was doing as far as behaviors or the qualities we didn't have when it came to being a good person, most likely when we was in our addiction, we didn't have none of those things. Honesty is a big one. Honesty is a spiritual principle. If you follow the fellowship, it's very important. We love people around us to be honest, but this is the thing. Are we completely honest with the people around us? See, I want you to be honest to me, but when I'm in my addiction or even, let's say I'm transitioning over to recovery, I'm trying, I'm falling off and falling on, things like that. Am I completely honest with, like I said, those around me? And do I have the willingness to be? So, where's honesty learned? I think that goes all the way back to our childhood. When I was a child, it was an unspoken rule. I grew up in a household where my mother and my stepfather, they sold drugs to support me and my sisters. No shame on them. They did the best they could with what they had. At one point in time, you would hear me say things like, this is why I'm like that, or I got it from my mom, or I got it from my stepfather. But I had to realize now looking back, that was the best they can do with what they had. And unfortunately, I took on the lifestyle and I ran with it because if what they was doing was bad for everybody, my sisters would have turned out the same way. Unfortunately, fortunately, my sisters didn't turn out like that. They're great women today. They take care of their children. But unfortunately, I try to follow moms and step-pops, and my life was hard, to say the least. But honestly, so when I was younger, I didn't go to school until my friends or even the teachers what was going on in my home. It was an unspoken rule. My mom and my stepfather didn't have to sit me and my sisters down and say, don't tell them people what's going on in this house. They didn't have to do that. We knew not to say anything. So I think at that point, we already was learning to lie. Even if they asked, of course we was gonna lie, you know what I'm saying? And we was presented with that a few times where people would call the social workers on my parents, hey, this is that, it's going on in this home. And it wasn't no abuse. It was, but what we were seeing, I was honestly say it wasn't a healthy environment for a child. But we'll tell social workers, no, ain't none of that going on. I don't know what y'all talking about. You know what I'm saying? And keep it pushing. So I learned how to lie as a child. The first person I ever lied to and manipulated, this is wild, was my mother. Things like, oh, Mom, my stomach hurt. I can't go to school today. Really, it wasn't that my stomach was hurting. I just didn't want to go to school because I wanted to play Nintendo or PlayStation. PlayStation 1, I think, was very, very popular at my time. Kind of telling my age right there. But yeah, I was a child when PlayStation 1 came out. So that's why, I wanted to go play PlayStation. I didn't want to go to school. And it worked. My mom was like, okay, baby, go in there and lay down. I'll be in there playing PlayStation, like, yeah, it worked. So I found out at an early age I can lie and get away with it, right? So all addiction did was expand my lying. It made it worse and worse and worse. To the point, at 11 years old, the first time I stole something, this is another behavior, because I didn't pick up a substance until I was 13. So I was already lying, stealing, manipulating before then. So these behaviors we have is something that need to be corrected as an adult. We've probably been doing it before we even picked up an addiction. But yeah, first time I stole something, I was 11 years old. At 11 years old, I stole a Snickers from a store called Salvac. I remember the name of the store. At 26, I'm on my way to prison for residential burglary. So how much I have grown, right? I really think that 11-year-old never was corrected, and my stealing and robbing and all that just got worse, 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 worse. And addiction was tied up in that. It's easy to say sometimes addiction controlled that, but the lifestyle that I was presented with, because not only what was going on in my home was as far as selling drugs, my family didn't gangbang though. They wasn't from a particular gang. Now, my stepfather was raised in one, and I seen some of his friends and his brothers and stuff like that come around, and they was from somewhere, but yeah, it wasn't much that in my face, but it was outside. See, I didn't just grow up in a dysfunctional home, dysfunctional neighborhood, So what was going on outside of my home as far as what I was seeing in the streets and the things that I attracted me, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't the only thing going on, but I attracted to it. So, yeah, so as a fast forward to that, I was on my way to the pen at 26, and I wasn't arrested. I was rescued, because at 26, my addiction was full. I was full and blown in addiction as far as weed, liquor, crystal, cocaine, Xanax, a few things, I identify as a recovered alcoholic, but it was a lot of things involved in just alcohol, but just to show my timeline, or tell my timeline, at 13, I picked up marijuana. At 16, I picked up ecstasy. At 19, I picked up alcohol heavily. At 21, I picked up cocaine. At 23, I was sniffing and smoking crystal. Full-blown addict, deep into it, deep in denial, deep into the gang life as well, because I was from a gang, and a lot of other things that contributed to the negativity in my life. All that in the whole, I was lost, hopeless, no sense of direction, right? And yeah, my life went on like that for a while. But the reason I say I was rescued because I remember being in the backseat of that car. It was me and my crimey. And my crimey, he was a little younger than I was. I was 26, he was like 20, 21. And we both going through the same exact thing, but he had a different reaction to it. I remember I was hand behind my back. I'm in the police car. I'm kind of looking out the window. And I was like, a sense of relief. And it's hard. It's wild for me to say that because most people are like, bro, you about to go to prison. I knew the lifestyle I was living. It just wasn't something I wanted to continue to do. And I was able to get away from that. You know what I'm saying? But my crimey, oh man, he was practically crying. He was not trying to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? He was not happy about going because his run had probably just started, or he was just in the middle of that. He was still, he was 20. I'm 26. So I've been doing it a little longer than he has. You know what I'm saying? So he still had some ideas. But yeah, so I was rescued. Ultimately, once I got out, I was navigated to a treatment center where at 27, I did a year. So I got out at 27 and yeah, and that's when my recovery was introduced to me. Like I always say, I'm gonna get real deep into my story. Once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm gonna just lay my story out and boom, and just let you guys know exactly who I am. But if you watch my videos, you will hear pieces of my story like I just did. Because I'm supposed to be talking about honesty, right? And that's why I wrote something down, because I'm quick to go on a different tangent because I have so much recovery, addiction, and sobriety in my head. And I just can't. My treatment center, I have over 100 women there that I work with, but it's just not enough. I need more people to work with. So here I am, YouTube, right? But yeah, I wrote something down, and we're going to stay back. We're going to get back on the topic, honesty, right? I think it's very important because if I'm not honest with the folks around me, and more or less I'm probably not honest with myself, I will never be able to move forward because I'm still lying about some things that took place in my life. So let me read. Honesty is one of the most powerful tools we have in recovery. When we're battling addiction, it's common to hide, minimize, or deny what's really going on. Addiction thrives in scenery and dishonesty. Secrecy, and dishonesty, making it even harder to heal. Choosing honesty means stepping into truth, even when it feels uncomfortable or scary. So we understand when we're doing something and it feels uncomfortable. What that means? That brings growth. If, let's say your job tell you, hey, look, I got a different role for you to do. It's going to change everything you're used to doing. You've been doing this for the last 3 years, but your job's going to completely 180. You're going to be like, oh man, this is uncomfortable. It's probably going to be more money, but it's going to be uncomfortable. But that uncomfortability brings growth. I'm going to grow now. I'm going to be able to do more. You know what I'm saying? It's going to make me flower into the person I need to be, but it's uncomfortable because you really think about, go back into when you first started your addiction, when you first tried a drug or alcohol, it wasn't comfortable. Nobody was comfortable drinking or doing whatever you was doing. It was like, yeah, ooh, this is it. May have felt good, but it was uncomfortable there because it was new. So what's new, of course, could be uncomfortable, but in recovery, honestly helps us build trust, not only with others, but importantly with ourselves. Every time we're truthfully, we strengthen our self-respect and confidence. When we admit our mistakes, we give ourselves permission to learn and grow. Honesty also opens the door for real support because people around us can't truly help if they don't know what's genuinely happening. For instance, if there's no problem, there's no solution. So if I can't tell you what's going on, if I'm lying about what's going on in my life, there's no solution to that. The step before step one, I don't, little tangent here. I don't get real deep into the 12 steps. And even though that's what I do to stay sober, guys, if you want to introduce yourself to meetings, as far as the fellowships they have available, you should definitely do that. I 100% campaign for it. But the reason I don't campaign on my channel is because if you know anything about the 12 steps and the traditions, I can't because YouTube will pay you eventually. And that means if I'm preaching this, I believe I start to transfer over or get a little shaky there with the transitions because traditions, because it's a nonprofit type of situation. We don't do this for promotion necessarily, but once again, I do want to say I am part of a fellowship of the anonymous kind, and that's what I do to stay sober. You may hear some of it when I speak, but I won't get directly into it. But my reasoning for bringing that up is because the step before step one, if you know what step one is, the step before that, do you have a problem? That's before. Do you even have a problem? Yes or no? It's not no, I think I do crystal a little bit, but I can stop it. Only drink hard on weekends. Do you have a problem? Yes or no? No gray area. I think gray areas for us addicts get us loaded each time. Don't be yes or no. Don't no maybes with me. Like, for instance, if you ask, hey, Avery, you got my $20, and I say maybe, you'll be like, what you mean maybe? So, that's a gray area there. So, yes, you got my money or no. So, do yes, you have a problem or no, you don't have a problem, right? So, being honest allows us to clearly see our strengths and weaknesses. It helps us set realistic goals and makes it impossible to ask for help when we need it. Honesty keeps us accountable and reminds us why we're choosing recovery every single day. Deep, right? But honesty in recovery isn't just about admitting the tough stuff. It also involves celebrating our victories openly. It's being truthful about the progress we're making and feeling proud of every step forward, no matter how small. So with that being said, you want to be able to be truthful with the people around you about where you're at. Let's say you get into a new relationship, you've been 10 years sober, and you get in, and this person doesn't know you used to be an addict 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago I used to smoke crack. 10 years ago I used to smoke meth. 10 years ago I used to drink the house apart and shit out blood. They don't know that, right? So would you be honest with them about who you are, even though you've been sober 10 years? Always ask that question. Me personally, I would. With my wife, she didn't know. I laid out some of the things I did. I didn't get into the details of what the things I did because some of that stuff is not. So people don't want to hear some of that stuff. But I let her know that I've been to prison before. I'm a drug addict and I'm an alcoholic. And if you want to make it sound easier, what I just did, because I didn't say I used to smoke meth. I used to drink, and I was boo-booing blood and where I wiped my butt. I didn't have to tell her all the details, but I did tell her like, hey, I'm a drug addict. I used to be an alcoholic. I've been sober, times, and at that point you give somebody the opportunity to make a honest decision about moving forward with you. Because let's be honest, if you pick up dope again, you might end up selling everything in the house. At least you told them in the beginning that you were an addict, so if you ever go back to that, they knew you were one and you went back to it. But I digress. In our group, honesty creates a safe space. When we openly share our experience, challenges, and triumphs, we inspire and support each other. We break down shame and loneliness, realizing that none of us is alone in this journey. Not at all. Today, I encourage all of us to embrace honesty, share your truth, speak openly, and trust in the power of honesty. And honesty is truly the foundation of lasting recovery, healing, and freedom. That word was I keep getting caught up on this word, and I apologize about that. But sincerity, excuse me. Hey, look, hey, I might not be the best reader out there. I'll be honest. Please don't clown me in the comments about Abram. You should know what that word meant. I'm getting my associates. I'm 35, 34. Hey, sometimes my older sister in recovery, she's 70, and she'll say things like, she'll look at me and I'll make a mistake. She'll be like, Abram, you better never take another hit in your life. Because, I know I did some damage to my mind, the way I used. And that's no excuse, I just messed up on that word. But I just want to put that out there that, honesty truly is the foundation of lasting recovery, healing, and freedom. So, once again, I want to thank everyone for listening, bringing light to my channel. Next chapter, sobriety, should be the last chapter, right? Because what's the next chapter after sobriety? That's yet to be told. But once again, please like, comment, share, grab one of your friends in addiction. If you're not even an addict and you have a family member or somebody close to you that are, hey, send them this video. Tell them to comment. I answer all questions to the best of my ability. If you have a question about anything, eventually I'll start doing these groups live where y'all can actually ask me directly what's going on. And we'll keep this going. My reasoning for doing this, because I know for a fact, due to me being a counselor in California, they charge thousands of dollars for this information I give you. Here freely. I'm just asking if you like, comment, you don't really got to do that. You can just subscribe. See how I do that? You can just subscribe. No, but yeah, you can just really just listen. I know if I helped you, at the least, you'd be like, hey, Abram, that information really helped me, and I know that that's enough for me. You know what I'm saying? So once again, I want to thank you for listening. And this is Next Chapter Sobriety. Peace.